This meeting is being recorded.
Hey y'all, what's going on? If you are watching this, it means that you are catching the replay, and more than likely you found me on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so excited to be able to share with you guys tonight a little bit about how I personally party in my VIP group. It's super simple. I know that that's a little bit easier said than done, the whole concept of partying in our VIP group. But first and foremost, before I dive right into how I do this, I definitely want to give credit to where credit is due. This is not my original idea. One thing in my personal business is that I work smarter, not harder. And more than likely, majority of the things that you see that I do in my business, whether you're friends with me, whether you're following me on YouTube, or whether you're on Team Faith and Soul with my group, you guys know that I am not one to pretty much reinvent the wheel because time is of the essence. I do love and respect those that create and do their own thing. And my thing is that if it's already out there, if there's an idea that's already in existence, take it as your own. I love basically marrying two ideas together. I'm a sponge. I soak up everybody's ideas, everything that they're doing, and then I put my own little twist on it and I make it my own. That's super important because if we're going to try to do something on our own, never going to get done. Let's be honest. So, pretty much, I want to start kind of like from the beginning of where, if I was explaining this to somebody that's never done this before, and then I'm going to walk you guys through the process of step by step how to get towards actually partying in your VIP group and then what that looks like. So, first and foremost, giving credit to where credit's due. Basically, I have married the ideas that Kimberly Polito has put together. If you're watching this, that some of you guys may know her, and also Nicole Atnett. So I have taken some of their ideas of what they've done, put it together, and then created my own concept of partying in my VIP group, otherwise known as block parties. So when you are wanting to do something like this, and this is grabbing your attention, and you're interested in it, it more than likely means that if you're anything like me, the last 3 years of my Scentsy business since joining, I would say that about close to 80, maybe leaning more towards 90% of my success in my business has been from online partying over the last couple of years. As I'm sure a lot of you guys might be able to relate to this, I got super burnout. I got burnout from anything and everything. And I'm going to refrain from getting on that soapbox. But if you're watching this and that struck a bell with you and it hit on your heartstrings, you know what I'm talking about. We don't need to go down that road, not that rabbit hole tonight. But I got super burnout and I was like, you know what? I need something different. I knew that the majority of my customer base is still online, even now, even this year, but I had to do something different because it wasn't bringing me joy anymore. It was so much work and I just wasn't enjoying it. And I mean, the thing is with this business is that if we're not enjoying it, it's not bringing us joy. What's honestly the point of doing it? Because we're small business owners. A lot of us got away from our full time corporate America jobs to be able to enjoy what we do. And if it's not bringing us joy, why the heck are you still doing it? So it's a weird concept. It took me some time, probably over a year, for me to finally be like, you know what, I'm going to try this out. But the idea of it is basically taking otherwise your party guest that you would get from your host, right? That list that they're creating, the people that they're inviting. And instead of creating that separate private group on social media, you are doing the same thing that you would do in that private group, but in your VIP group. And here's the thing, the biggest key factor and takeaway of this is the fact that again, I'm huge about working smarter, not harder. If you have a personal, private, whatever the case may be, VIP group, odds are you're already posting in it weekly, right? So why not kill two birds with one stone and invite your party guest into your VIP group? So much easier. So where do you start? You start with your VIPs. If you're wanting to look for hosts, I personally went back to the basics of those that hosted with me in the very beginning. I reached out to them. Over the last couple months, had posted in my VIP group, and I was like, hey, um, I need a guinea pig. I'm doing a new concept, partying style. It's going to be super easy. Who would like to help me out? And it did take me over the last couple of months to finally be able to get somebody in my VIP group that wanted to be my guinea pig. Now, I will say that I started over a year ago doing this concept in my VIP group, but I just recently took on the verbiage that Nicole Atnip had spoke about, and I have titled it and call it now a block party. It just sounds fun, right? It sounds more casual. So once you do have somebody that is interested and they want to be your host, what you want to do is you want to obviously reach out to them and give them the verbiage of what they're going to share with their friends and family. Now, I personally, I did get this idea from Nicole Atnip, and it is to where you're simplifying your party packs when it comes to your guests. So before we dive into all the things, I just want to go over the basics. So odds are, if you are doing online parties, more likely that probably means that you are or you have been putting party packs together. And again, that's a whole nother soapbox and I'm not going to get on. But if you're like me, you spent probably a little bit too much money on your party packs. I will say over the last couple of years, I did get a really great return, really big return on them. But over the last year, not so much. And it was taking up so much time. I'm not even going to go into how much work and detail I was putting into it. If you know me personally, you know that I am very detail oriented. I'm extra, so I'll just say that. And it was just way too stressful. So I like this new concept. I do, if you are friends with me, I will be sharing the template that you guys can use. I personally ordered these through Canva. So this is actually, I kind of took it on and redid it and then revamped it to look more like my own. But this is basically what your party guest will get. And we'll get to in a little bit how they get their hands on this. But this is basically a super simple, so much cheaper way, you guys, to be able to send out a party pack. So I basically titled it my block party pack just to keep it more simple. So it basically looks like this. So it's giving them a generalized idea of our Scentsy products. At the top, I did say join Scentsy for $0. So that's going to catch their attention because obviously they're like, wait a minute, how do I join Scentsy for free? And then, of course, you know, I have to add in my little extra details. And then I do talk about at the top of here. So because this is getting exclusively mailed to them, you can put on here personal specials that you may have for this season or for your parties. So for me, for example, one thing that I personally like to do is it says at the top here, free mini warmer plus host rewards when you host a qualifying party. So that means for me that when my host has a qualifying party with me, they get a free mini warmer of their choice. Now, qualifying party can be anything for you. It could be the minimum of 200, which is required, right, for your host to earn rewards. Or if you're wanting to up the ante, then you can say 350, 500, whatever the case may be. For me personally, especially because I definitely reevaluate every year as far as where my customers are at, what they're ordering, how much they're ordering, what they're wanting to spend, that kind of thing. Because if you have that close relationship with your customer base, you are going to know how to meet their needs. That's what I want to say. And meet them where they're at, right? So for me, I personally know that my customers, I still want to spoil them, but I know, as most of you guys may be able to relate, if not, kudos to you guys. But for me, it's been a little bit of a struggle bus to get party host. So I personally offer the mini warmer for the minimum as of this year, the minimum $200 $200 in orders. My host will receive a mini warmer of their choice. And then of course the way that that works, because that's a personal special, right? So that's something that you have to communicate with your host one-on-one or through mail like this. So I use my host rewards. I use the perpetual party reward, and I do put that towards the mini warmer. Now, if that's not in your budget, you don't have to do a mini warmer. You could do a scent circle. You could do a scent of the month wax bar. All those wax bars that we get every month, put those suckers to use. It can be whatever you want it to be, but just keep it simple and do it whatever's within your budget. So I have that. And then of course I have like my contact information here. Now, I will say this is that this next year, my phone number will be changing because I actually have my personal phone number on here, but I recently started doing Project Broadcast. So that number will take its place and I will not have to put my personal number. It'll be my work number. So whenever I run out of these, that's when I'm going to be changing up on here. On the back side, I pretty much took to just the same outline, same template as everyone else had. And so what it is, in case you can't see it, is that it does have instructions for steps 1 through 5 for an entry into our party giveaway. There are instructions as far as what they have to do, so they'll read that. And then you can do whatever kind of website or QR code that you want to do. For me personally, this QR code actually takes the party guests to the flippable version of our online catalog. This is definitely going to save you a whole lot more money in the long run, because in the past, I used to ship off showcase brochures, and that was fine for the time being. But I wasn't, again, seeing after a while a big enough return on my investment, and it just wasn't worth it. So Scentsy gives us the flippable catalog, and that's what this is right here. And then right below it, it does tell them that this is their sample bar. So the really cool thing about a sample bar is basically this is an investment in your customer, in your party guest. They are going to get, first and foremost, with this, scratch and sniff stickers. So I actually cut mine up, and then they look like this. So they get the 10 cents. If it's not the top 10 new 10 cents that you have on hand, you guys use whatever the heck you have on hand. It doesn't matter. Like if you have scratch sniff stickers, as long as, obviously, I mean, I guess if you want to use ones that you've had for a while, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just wax. So if you have the oils or if you have the pet line, use whatever you have on hand. Again, work smarter, not harder. I put them in these little cheap flat white card type envelopes. I have a ton left over from greeting cards that I've collected over the years. So I honestly just pop it into that. It doesn't have to be fancy. Now where I do get a little bit extra is I like to go to Avery and I'll create some simple stickers just to pop on here. I think it's important to have some kind of communication on this, just in case your party guests, for whatever reason, don't contact you. This is good to have. So like, for example, like this one's just for fun, but this one says, yay, your block party is here. So that would be in the corner. And then obviously I would just fill it out like you would a card. And then on the back side, it says, let's party. Your host will earn an extra half off credit. So anything, create stickers, put, whatever you want on there. So I've got that. And then one thing that I do really like that, and again, I didn't invent this myself, is that I do like the idea that your party guests are getting, first and foremost, the scratch and sniff stickers. And after that, if they place an order, this is where the sample bar will come in handy, because in the instructions, what they're going to do is they're going to separate out the stickers that they like. They're going to take a picture with this and the stickers, send it to me through either Facebook or texting me. And then what I'm wanting them to do is fill this bottom part out here. So whatever they mark down here, it's going to tell me what samples that they're wanting in the future, right? And that's perfect, because once I get this from them, and in order for them to receive this, that means that they've had to fill out my jot form, and we'll cover that in a second. So once I have the jot form from them, I'm going to have their contact information, and then I'm also going to have what future samples they're interested in. What does that mean? I'm going to take that information. I'm going to load it into Project Broadcast. I will create a tag for them. Project Broadcast, that's a whole nother training for another time. And if you're watching on YouTube, there is, by the way, a training on that. So be on the lookout for that. But what's really cool is that I'll have so much more future possibility with them by doing this. All right, so that is that. So there's that. And then they get, of course, the scratch stickers. Of course, like I said earlier, I am a little extra. So I always have fun cutesy stickers that I always just add one from Amazon that I get in bulk. Just because I feel like I need all, like I'm the kind of person where I always feel like I have to have like a little extra because I am. So that basically is honestly what's mailed to them. And that's that. So that's what the party guests get. Now, as far as my hosts are concerned, let's see. Oh yeah, it's right here. So just use what you have on hand. I just so happen to have an extra whiff box. So that's what actually I'm using because I just have a host. I have a host that just started hosting with me. That's a mouthful. This week. So she's actually going to be receiving this box. And then I'll show y'all that in a second. So I normally use a smaller box, but because I only had one person hosting with me this month, I wanted to spoil her a little bit more. She is a regular customer of mine, and so I went ahead and just used the whiff box that came in. But what you can do instead is you can always use a smaller box and then put it in a mailer, like a poly mailer bag. So I got these from I think about a year ago. They were on clearance. They were in clearance with Hobby Lobby online. So I had bought these in bulk. So you could always do that if you wanted to. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Just do what works best for you and for your budget. Let's see. I was going to see if I can open this up. It's pretty hollow. So like this particular box, you really can't fit too much in there. But that's what that looks like. If you're not wanting to do something like that, honestly, you could just have a basic poly mailer and then just pop whatever it is that you're wanting to give to your host in that poly mailer. But just again, do what works for you and your budget. So this is actually what my host is getting this month. So I can actually, I'm going to pull, I guess, the products out of here and I'm going to show you guys what she's getting. So I always like to put a little thank you card in there. Most of the time I handwrite it, but it honestly just depends on how many hosts I have. So if I have more than one, more than likely I would probably have this typed up ahead of time, but that's just thanking them for being a host. I will say this first and foremost, when you are putting something together for your party host, you want to be very intentional. Just like I'm intentional when I'm putting together local orders for my customers, and I'm intentional with like samples that are going in there. I'm not just throwing in just anything. I'm very intentional about the products that are going in there as far as samples, and that also goes the same as marketing, right? So I always have a reason for everything. So this particular host of mine has been kind of off and on interested about joining Scentsy, and so this is why I did put my little flyer, I guess you want to call it flyer, in there that talks about joining Scentsy. This is actually my new one for the season. So that's going in there. I typically probably wouldn't put this. I would just put like the regular join flyer in there. But like I said before, I've had a conversation with her over the last year about her joining. And because I know that that's still on her mind. So that's why that's in there. And then I also, because she has not received a catalog from me, and if you are not tracking who is receiving catalogs from you guys, make sure and do that. I will say first and foremost, I am not the most organized person. If you know me, I'm like fake it till you make it. I love functioning in organized chaos, but I try to stay organized where I can. And one of those things is who's receiving catalogs from me, because let's be honest, we all know catalogs are not cheap these days. So this is what my typical, I guess it's upside down. So this is what my hosts get, is the catalog from me. One thing that I like is that something like this looks fancy, right? Like if I saw somebody else and they showed me this, I would be like, yeah, I don't have time for that. That looks too extra. But I didn't really, I seriously put this together in like a matter of seconds. It's just the basic clear sticky bags. You get them on Amazon. I think they're, I don't even know honestly what they're called. I think they're like clear catalog bags, something like that. But you can get them on Amazon for super cheap. And I actually, I used to teach. So these leaves for real were like left over from bulletin boards. So I just tossed that in because I just randomly had it on hand. I always put a business card. I have the magnet business card, so I'm very picky about who gets those. But when I'm sending out something like this, you never know as far as your host or your customers who's going to pass off what to someone else. So the business card, I particularly always like to put in mailers like this. So I do have my business card in there. Obviously, we should all know that you want to make sure and label your catalogs. So there's that. So you're getting that. Anytime you're putting samples into a party order, host box, whatever you want to call it, anything like that. Any type of samples you're giving to somebody, you always want to make sure and put the equivalent marketing with your samples. That's something when I first started with Scentsy, I didn't know was important to do. Never really thought about that. But here's the thing is that if I am receiving a sample from my friend's company, my friend's boutique, whoever the case may be, maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know how it functions or what to do with it. And it does help to have marketing information like this. So for example, I have the dryer disc that you'll see in a little bit. So my host is going to get the incredible flyer that we have, brochure for the laundry line, because maybe they don't know what a dryer disc is. So that's that. I also have a hand soap sample. And I think I have the counter clean. So then they're going to get that as well. I do plan on writing on the back of it and just probably putting a little something of, hope you enjoy your sample, scan the code for more options, that kind of thing. Again, this is a personal special. So this is something that, again, you can do one-on-one. You just can't post it online and talk about it. But I just so happen to get these from a subscription monthly thing that I get from another company. So I just so happen to have these blank gift certificates that look like this beforehand. So it looks like that. I'm sure you could easily find something like that on Amazon. But the kit that I get is like a little, I think it's called like a boss kit. And so this came in them. And so I haven't really figured out how I wanted to utilize those because I don't, I will be the first to admit, I don't market the gift certificates that Scentsy does as much as I should. And so that's something that I normally would use towards them. But I started using these in my host kits. And so what this is I basically just say on there that they, as a host, they have $10 to use for every friend that hosts a block party with me. So I wrote that information on there. So that goes in there. I love little snacks. So my host always gets sweet treats. These currently are in season. I absolutely love these. These are like the little Werther candies for the fall. I always like putting a little sweet treat in there. That's just something extra that I do. My host is getting a full-size sample of hand soap. So that is that. And by the way, make sure, like I will say first and foremost, when I first start every catalog season, I do bulk sample. But after that, I am not, I wish I was one of those people that was organized and bulk sampled and had that very specific day through the week where I do samples. No, I, again, work in organized chaos. So most of the time, I will be honest with y'all, if I have run out of samples, I kind of just do it in the moment. And then that's kind of my reminder then, oh, I should probably bulk sample some of this for, like at least 10 samples. And then I go from there. So again, I don't want to fool y'all and thinking that I'm like the most organized person. But here's the thing, you can put something together like this and make it seem like that you do have your ish together. So again, I have the subscription for the scent of the month. So my host will be getting a full-size bar of the scent of the month because let's be honest, we don't want these just like sitting around collecting dust. I like, again, I'm really big on details. So I just recently put the tag on there where it says VIP perk. And then I already have these little tags. I got them from Amazon. So there's that. I do monthly scent boxes. So a lot of times when I'm putting together boxes for my host, I just use whatever I have on hand. So I actually had some little extra little plastic cauldrons left over from my scent boxes that I'm putting together for this month. So they're getting the wax samples for the new 10 cents. They're getting the actual wax samples. So party guests get the scratch stickers, but your host, I give the host the actual wax. So there's that. So typically I will usually put, normally I would say about 3 full-size samples in their box. This time I believe there's 4 just because I did have extra of this month's scent of the month on hand. So that's just the only reason why there's a 4th item. This I'm counting as a fourth item because these are really important to have. They're a lot of fun. Again, something like this, right, looks super simple, looks super fancy, but I seriously already have these clear bags on hand. I usually do like shaker cards for my team members. Oops, I was going to show y'all. It's like sitting in my drawer right now. So they look like this, like that. These are 4x6 clear resealable bags. It comes in a 200 pack. Again, super cheap on Amazon. I just fold them over and then I put the Conch Cleanup in there. It just elevates the look and it just makes it a little bit more fancier. And that is definitely something that I usually will do for sure, is the Conch Cleanups at the beginning of the catalog season, and I'll make a ton of those. So there's that. And then my host this time is getting the dryer disc. A lot of times what I will do is I usually through Scentsy Club, I get my whiff box for my half off credit when I'm spending 60 or more, right? So when I get the whiff box, a lot of times I will utilize what's in that box, which is pretty much what's going on here right now. I'll normally make samples from what's in the whip box. Unless I just absolutely have to have something for myself. I'll either use it for samples or I'll keep it on hand for my host boxes. So there's that. So that's where that dryer disc came from. So they're getting a full pack of dryer disc, and I think that's pretty much it. That's all that's in here. The only thing that I did not cover that I'm fixing to is that I want to make a smaller version of this, but I wanted to print it out just so you guys could see. This looks huge because the new whip box is really small. So I did not create this myself. I just so happened to see, if you are on the Block Party group on Facebook that Nicole Atnip had started, there was a consultant who was nice enough to share this. This was really cute. I do plan on making a more condensed version of it, but it just says, welcome to the Block Party. Thank you for being a host. And it just walks your host through basically like the minimal 4 steps on having on how to have a successful party or block party. So I thought that was pretty cool. And at the bottom it says, any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So I have this saved on my computer. So as far as the boot camp group is concerned, I will share this in the comments of my post for today, so that way you guys can use that as an example, because whoever the consultant that created this was super nice to be able to do that. So I can't wait to create my own. Another option before I start sharing my screen that I want to show you guys, I did not do this season, but this is something you might want to do. So if you are not wanting to either do wax samples for your party host, or if you're wanting to maybe do a little bit more elevated look for your scratch and sniff stickers, this is what I did last year. And to be honest with y'all, because I'm just now running out of the very last of my samples for the wax. So I might actually just utilize my stickers for my party host, because let's be honest, like they're getting full-size samples. So we don't have to do full-size samples of the wax as well. So more than likely my host will be getting the scratch stickers. So one thing that I have done in the past that I saw that someone had did, which was really cool, is I had ordered these little clip rings. You can again get these in bulk on Amazon. So those are those little clip rings that we usually see for like keychains. And what I thought was really cool is what the consultant had done is punched a hole in the corner of all of the stickers and then looped them on here. So then that way it was easier to keep up. It wasn't hard to lose them. So I thought that was really nice. So that's just an idea that I did last year that I thought was really cool. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and see. I'm going to go and do that real quick. Oh, there we go. Like it disappeared on me. Okay. All right, and then Jessica, can you see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thank you. All right, looks like it's loading. Okay, so this is the first thing I want to show you guys. And it looks like it's still loading. So one thing that's really cool, if you guys have not utilized Jotform, Google Form, Jotform, whatever your preference may be, but with Jotform, I like that there are consultants who do share their templates for their particular forms. So this template was somewhat already created, and then I just added to it as far as what I wanted to do. And so, of course, my background's a little fancier for the season, but I just want you guys to get the generalized idea of what the form looks like that you would send out to you would send the link basically and share it with your host, and then they would share it out with their people that they want to invite to the block party. So I'm just going to scroll through real quick just so you can get a generalized idea of the template. This is also something that I will definitely share out with the bootcamp group that I'm with. So I'll share that template for you guys in case you want to use it. And then I'll just scroll through because most of us should be a little bit more familiar with Google Forms, Jotforms. So at the very bottom, I did like how I saw a consultant had done this, where it was how familiar are you with Scentsy? So that gives you a generalized idea of what samples in the future to send to them. And then, of course, we definitely want to know if they want to host with their block party as well. And then at the bottom, I actually like this idea that Nicole Atnip had. And so she had done hers with Matthew McConaughey. I'm a personal fan of Sam Elliott. And so I basically just ran off of her idea and then replaced it with Sam Elliott. So this was a lot of fun, as you guys can see here as you're reading along. It talks about how interested your party guests would be if they wanted to join, earn 20% back on their purchases. And then I like the options because the options are a little bit more lighthearted and not so serious. Now, one thing that I will say that's really cool is that if your party guest was to click on submit, it would take them to, let's see, I'm gonna see if I can edit. No, hold tight, because I think I'm on view form. Let me see if I can edit it. That way y'all can see this one part. The way I used to have my Jotform, and I thought this option was really cool. So back when Kimberly Polito had done her first training on how to party in your VIP group, one thing that I took from her, which was really cool, was that whenever her customer filled out the form, the party guest, they were redirected into the VIP group and not just given a thank you for filling this out submission page. Let's see, will it let me? Maybe not. Okay. Sorry about that. I thought it was going to let me see my thank you page. But one thing that, like I said, was really cool is that there is a way that you can edit your form, and that could be another training that we can do for another day. So whenever your party guest is filling out the submit form, what's really cool is that it again would redirect them to your VIP group, and then they would instantly be submitted into there. So that's the form. Let's see. I want to go back. Let me stop sharing real quick. So I'm actually going to pull up real briefly the verbiage, let's see, that I shared with my host. Because I know if you guys are anything like me, one thing that I struggle with a lot is I overthink like the verbiage. So I'm like, okay, I know how to party, in my VIP group. I can post, I can do all the things. I have all this ready to go. But what the heck do I say to somebody? Because a lot of times, I'm sure a lot of us, if you're anything like me, I used to be really bad about like word vomit and I would say too much. But then I also have this fear of not saying enough, not getting my point across to somebody. And so I went ahead and just went for it. And so when I contacted the person, my VIP that was willing to be a host with me this week, I went ahead and messaged her. And I said, hey, I'm going to send you the verbiage that you can copy and paste and then send it out to your party guest. So verbatim, word for word, this is actually the verbiage that she copy and pasted to her people. So I told her, it says, hey, and then insert the person's name. I'm hosting a scented block party for my Scentsy girl. Go here and fill the form out to get a goodie bag mailed to you. It's free to do. I wanted to add that part in very specifically. I wanted to do that because in the past, I don't know why, but I oddly have gotten in the past party guests that have asked me, how much do you like, how much does it cost for your party pack? Oh, I didn't know it was free. Oh, I didn't know it was included. I'm not really sure where that came from. I don't know if there's somebody out there that is charging for it. I don't know. But I was like, well, heck, maybe that was, what possibly prevented a lot of people in the last couple years from doing this with me, and filling out the form with me, is because they thought that they had to buy it, or there was some kind of something connected to it, right? It could be maybe that the last parties that they were in, whatever the company may be, I don't know. Maybe it was like, hey, place an order with me and receive this party pack kind of thing. But for me personally, I always want to offer something out to the party guests, because the thing is that we're doing this virtually, right? So if we're doing it virtually, we want to make sure and give them the best red carpet experience as a party guest, as the same that we would when we are having an open house with them. So just think about how you would have it if you were to have an open house, inviting them into your home or your host home, how you would treat them. I would treat them the same way. So you want to basically bring that into the virtual world, and that's where that party pack will come in. So like I said, I like adding that part. It's free to do because everybody likes the word free. Then I inserted my jot form link for them to click on, and it says, I'm sending you an invite to the VIP group where the block party will be. That also is super important, because you want your host to communicate to their guests, to their friends and family, hey, be on the lookout for an invite from me. Because here's the thing, you don't want your host to be like, get invite happy and invite all the people without telling them why they're getting this invite, because that's where miscommunication can happen. And yeah, and you just don't want any confusion, right? Let's see. And so I did follow up with the host. One thing that I did start doing recently is that I've noticed that with my private VIP group that I'm not always seeing, because I used to have like the settings were changed where I had to approve people that were getting added in. But nowadays, because I have people coming in left and right into my VIP group, from all different areas, that I took that off because that was one less thing I had to worry about. But because of that reason, it's not letting me, I'm not getting notified when people are actually joining in the VIP group after they've been invited. So I just simply asked my host, hey, can you send me a screenshot or a list of the people that you sent that message to? And that'll help me out, because in that way I can go down and do a little checklist of, for one, who joined the VIP group and accepted the invite, and for two, who filled out the jot form, because that'll give you an inclination of who your host needs to follow up with. All right, so let's go back to sharing my screen. The next thing that I want to show you guys is my Facebook group. And this is my VIP page, so welcome. And it looks a little bit wonky, I'll say this much, because I guess like it updated, so I'm not used to this being on the side. But what I do want to show you guys that I do a little bit different than most. Let's see if I can find it. I'm so used to working on my phone, so we'll see if I can find it on my laptop. This will be interesting. Oh yeah, here we go. So albums. So one thing that I do that's a little bit different. So to cut back on the amount of crap that I don't want to post every single day through the week, I create albums on my VIP group. So I'm actually in the middle of switching things up and just giving them a little bit more of a refreshed look. But just to give you a generalized idea, I keep it super simple. So for example, if someone was to click on the clean line, it's going to show them not only examples of what the clean line can do, but then it's also going to be these little lovely flyers that we would otherwise be posting through the week, and then walk them through what the clean line is. Now, typically, I will say, let's see if I can go back. I will say that whenever I have a block party going on, I will go live well within like the first day or two of it kicking off. So for me, this will be tomorrow. And then I will walk through my VIPs, and I'll let them know, by the way, there's albums if you want to look through it in your own leisure. and then they can click through it, as you can see here, and then just super simple, be able to walk through and just see what's available in our catalog. So this is actually going to cut down a lot of stuff that otherwise we would be posting right in our private parties. So that's one thing that I do a little bit different. Let's see, let me go back to the home screen of my party. Okay, so like I said, this week I just kicked off my host her event. So let's see, I'm going to scroll. I guess I can actually click on this because I ended up pinning it at the top of the group page. So this is what I did here. Let's see if it's going to let
Can you
me.
tell me why I never considered albums and well, yeah, why I
Right?
never considered albums, but then now I guess you're leading into what you post.
Oh no, yeah, you're good. So yeah, so albums, like, to me, doing let's see, I'll go back to it. So albums to me just made more sense because like I said earlier, like, I mean, obviously it's not like crap per se, but it's just a lot of extra, right? And so it's like when I'm doing like my private parties, I found that posting content was really bogging me down. And here's the thing, is like we don't know.
100%.
Yes, right? And like we don't know where our party guests are at. Like we don't know if here, let me go back. Temporarily stop sharing my screen. We don't know, where our party guests are at right now. Like that's where my form's going to come in if they fill the job form. But let's just say hypothetically they don't fill out my job form. I don't know where these party guests are at. Like I don't know, are they new to Cincy, or are they, like, have they been around since Cincy first started, right? And so that's what I like about the albums, is because over the last couple years, like I said earlier, like all of my success was pretty much due to online partying. So whenever I was posting in these private groups, these private parties, there was this flow, right? Like, Monday we would post this and Tuesday we would talk about this, and it was a walk through the entire catalog. But here's my issue, is that what I realized is that if Susie Q joins my online party group and she's a guest, she may not be there and interested in wax and warmers, right? She may, it's like, oh, I know wax and warmers, but she may not know about the other products. And what sucks is that the way I would do the party week posting is that it would take all week until like maybe Thursday, Friday for me to be posting what she might be interested in seeing. And that's even if I was if I even still had her attention, right? Like if she was still in the party with me. And odds are more than likely she wouldn't be, because these days I have found that me having private groups for parties just isn't cutting it for me anymore. Like I stopped doing that over a year ago. I got burnt out by it. It was just way too much work for me. But that's where the albums come in, is because the
Where
albums,
have you been my whole life?
like, girl, albums make it so much nicer, because like I said, you don't want to create the album and just hope and pray, that they see that you did that. Like, even though it's my VIP group and my VIPs know that those albums are there, I'm constantly again having new flow of people coming into my VIP group. So typically once a week I will go live, and because I am, we have LTOs that are always changing. We have, products that are selling out, all the things. So I try to stay on top of updating my albums at least once a month, because that's when our LTOs change, right? And so when I change the albums and the albums are there, it's so much nicer, because again, it's taking care of all that fluff that we would otherwise be posting about. And it's just, I mean, it's not, I don't want to say like boring, but I just don't enjoy it. So I have found that by creating the albums and, bringing it to the basics of walking them through the catalog. So as you saw earlier, there's a laundry album, there's a cleaning album, whatever the heck y'all want to do. Like I create separate albums. And so that way it frees up the otherwise posting that I would do in a party, to where I am able to just continue on with posting like I regularly would do in my VIP group. And the beauty of partying in your VIP is that your generalized post does not have to change, right? Like nothing changed in my VIP group. Like I'm still posting like I regularly would do. I don't have to post as much as I used to because of the albums. So let me go back to sharing my screen. Let's see. There we go. I always feel weird. I always feel like I have to like go back and forth. Like if I'm talking for the most part, I don't want anybody like just sharing, just like staring at a blank screen. All right, so let's get back on my VIP group. So yeah, so that's where we were earlier. So these are the albums that I created. Obviously, you guys don't have to have as many albums as I do, but I just happened to break up the entire catalog. This I updated today, so I'm not really sure what's happening here because there should have been photos here. So I'll have to go back and look at that in a little bit. But I had uploaded the actual real life images of the Harvest collection, so that was that. But like I said, anytime you guys are, if you're having a new host in your VIP group, every single week. I honestly, I don't even have to have a host in my VIP group. Once a week, I always go back in here. I go live and I'm like, hey, y'all, hope you're having a great week. Just so you know, as a reminder, if you're new to this group, I have albums on here. You're more than welcome to look through here. And then normally what I'll do is I like Zoom so that way I can share my screen, and then I'll pre-record it and then just show them, where it's located at, and then walk them through what each of these are. And then obviously I have like an extra one here because again, I do monthly set boxes. And so I like to upload examples of that, but everything else is covered. And so I'm going to go back to the home screen for my VIP group. And so as far as posting is concerned, I used to honestly weigh myself down more. Like last year, I was really big about having themes when it came to what I was posting per day. But to be honest with you guys, like that's a little overrated. And who has time for that? I used to be like super organized, but nowadays I don't really like to overthink it too much as far as posting. So let's go further down. Let's see. I want to start back to like the beginning of the week. That way I can kind of show you guys a generalized idea of what I post. And I love like when people comment like individually on certain things because I mean, it is what it is, but as y'all can see here, it like breaks it up to where it looks a little bit busier, but that's okay because it's helping my algorithm. All right, so I think why not? Let's just start here. And so because I create the albums on my VIP group, like I said earlier, it's taking out a lot of the fluff that we would normally see whenever we do have like our private parties, right? So that allows me to have more fun when it comes to posting. So actually, sorry about that. Let me shoot back up here. So this is actually currently pinned at the top because I do have one new host that's doing a block party with me. And I don't know why. I don't know why this over here, it looks like this, because this is really annoying me. I'm like, I want to see the full post. Let's see. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to see if I can go. Maybe I can scroll down to where that post originally was. Because like this, like the way this looks here, I don't know if y'all's VIP groups look like this, but this is new. Like the way that this setup is, I'm like, can I just get a full screen? And it's probably just because I'm not tech savvy and I can't figure out like how to get this to go away. All right, let's see. There it is. Okay, yay. So this is actually the post that I created today. And as you can see, it says, Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Shannon's block party. And here's the thing, before I read into this and talk about this part. So the last year, last year is when I started actually like partying in my VIP group. When I did do that, I, believe it or not, did not tell my VIPs that I was doing this because I didn't want any confusion to happen. I wanted to go about things more normal, and I wanted to basically act like nothing was any different than me posting every day, and it worked just fine. But I have not actually partied per se in my VIP group in about a couple of months. I've done other things to bring success into my business. So this actually hasn't been the key factor in my business the last couple of months. So this is probably about 3 months of not having a party host. So this is why I did this post today, because I have not partied in my VIP group in a little while. So I wanted my VIPs to see this, and I want them to see how easy this is in hopes that I will get more hosts in the future. So as you can see here, I just, let them know, by the way, this post is not an accident. This is a new party style. It's easy for me and easy for the host. Whether you are a VIP or I guess it's Shannon's, feel free to interact and ask questions, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, I posted the shopping link for her people to see, and then this will be pinned at the top of the page. So there's that. The beauty of partying in your VIP group is that your VIPs should already be commenting and interacting. So as you can see here, obviously I'm posting, I have people that are sharing, commenting, so everything is going on as normal. What's really cool is that because you already have activity, and even honestly, if it's just 2 people, honestly, in your VIP group, you're still getting interaction. So what's really cool is that even though you're partying in here and you may have new people that are joining as guests, the awesome part is that you don't have to worry about having a crickets, like you don't have to worry about crickets in your, in your private party, right? Because I have had a lot of those in the last couple of years. And we all know that that sucks when you take the time in setting up something and then no one's interacting and no one's, commenting, liking, whatever. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I just wasted my time. But here's the thing, I'm not wasting my time in my VIP group because I'm already posting in here every day. So, walking you through basically like how my weekly posts go. Monday for me, like you saw earlier, I'm going to scroll back down. Monday for me is usually a little bit lighthearted. I typically post about twice a day, normally once a day. So Monday, I usually like to post something fun or interactive that's a little bit lighthearted. Let's see. So because I can't remember what the date was for Monday, that was the 12th. So that was Hocus Pocus release. I don't even know. Did I share something? Let me look real quick. Like maybe, maybe not. That was the 12th. Oh, well, that's okay. It's irrelevant. So I typically, as you can see here, I like doing more interactive posts because it's going to help with algorithm. Excuse me.
Is
So
the
this, for
album
example,
feature on a different term now?
what'd you say?
Is the albums feature on a different like term now instead of albums?
Yes. So of course they had to make it a little bit complicated for us. So if your screen looks anything like mine, basically, Jessica, like I realized that I have to go on my computer. I go
Mhm.
to where it says more,
Okay.
and then I click on media. Now it might be somewhere else. I think it is. There's one more place that it could be, but I click
Okay.
on media, and then I go from there. And then
Okay.
once you're on this page, I think you click on more media, and then I think it's should have actually already came up. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I had to scroll up to the top and then just
Okay.
albums.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I don't think there's anywhere else on here that it is. Yeah, they basically tucked it away for whatever godly known reason.
Yeah.
They have to keep us on our toes. So I'm like, why not? I know.
I
Like
just
it's
recently realized I haven't been able to find albums. I'm like, wait, what? But I
yep.
made an album.
I know. I was the same way a while back when they changed it. I thought I was like, oh my God, everything disappeared. Where are my albums at? And it's this, and then like on our phones, let's see, on my phone, it's a little bit different, I think. Let me pull it up real quick. Because I remember, let's see, let me click on my team. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so on your phone, I have where it has like the 3 little lines, like on my phone, I call it a hamburger. But if I click on the 3 little lines that are usually on the top left-hand corner on my phone for Facebook, if I'm on the app, then I click on those 3 lines and then it automatically should pull up where it says albums.
Yeah, that's a new update for mine. That wasn't a
I
thing.
know.
Holy cow.
Yep. Yay. Yay for updates. But now you know where to find your albums. So
I
for me,
I
I
feel like a
typically,
old
what were you
person
saying?
figuring out something new.
Oh, trust me, I feel the same way.
All right.
But when it comes to posting, y'all, just keep it super simple, super lighthearted. I'm not even going to tell y'all like the flow of how I post per day, just because I know the way my brain works. And then normally it's like, okay, well, tell me every single day and what you post, and I'm going to do it exactly the way that you do it. But here's the thing, like I pay very close attention to what's going on with my VIPs. I see they're posting on their personal pages. So for the most part, I know that I don't always have to post Scentsy. Even if I'm having a party in my VIP group, I keep it super lighthearted. So for example, last night, as you can see here, actually, I'm going to keep scrolling because it's probably going to play the volume. No, it's muted. But I opened up my box that came in and I just showed all of the products that came in my box. And that's for my VIPs and that's for the party guests as well. So it gives them an up close look at what I have. If I'm changing my wax, I'm going to go live. Like for example, tomorrow morning, I'm going to change my wax. And so I'm just going to pop on, go live, and then show how I'm changing my wax. I'll probably talk about how you can figure out what bulbs work for your warmers, all the details that come with warmers. So it's just the same as like the content that we're posting in our stories. So if you're, doing the laundry or if you're using the counter clean, I'm doing the same exact thing, but I'm going to be sharing that as a post in my party that's happening, or my block party that's happening in my VIP group. So one thing that I really like, I don't know if you guys do this or not, but I like doing the top sellers for the last week. I always, of course, like using, as you can see here, real life images. This is super important for me to do in my VIP group because I find that almost every single time that I share a top sellers for Tuesday of every week, I always get at least one sale from every time I post this in my VIP group, every single time. Let's see. What else? I like doing interactive posts, and usually about once a week, I'll do an interactive post and say, I'll usually will reward them with like a scent circle. So, for example, I know we were just looking at it earlier. Where was it? Oh yeah, so that was actually one that I did yesterday morning. I said I'm counting down the days for this temporary cool front to roll in this next week. Haha. One has to go. Which drink choice is getting the boot? And so again, I want to do posts even though I'm still partying in my VIP group. I want to keep the posts very lighthearted, a lot of fun. The thing is, you guys, is that your people in your VIP group, even if they're party guests, they know that you sell Scentsy. They know that you're a Scentsy person. So you don't have to feel as compelled. Don't feel as much pressure to post Scentsy all the time. But just keep your post, super light. I'm gonna go back. I don't think. Let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Oh. Yeah, so I don't think there was anything else on my screen that I needed to share. About that. Oh, thanks, Kathy. So let me get out of that. So that's pretty much about it. I'm thinking, I don't think there's really anything else for me to cover. But like I said, I like doing the albums in my VIP group. That cuts down on a lot of the extra, again, from having to post through the week. As far as posting is concerned, like I said, I usually keep it about 2 posts per week. I'm sorry, hello, 2 posts per day, usually 1. There are a little bit of a theme. I think there's themes that I usually go for like Fridays is usually like, I'm really big on hashtags. Hashtags keep me grounded and they help me stay organized. So Fridays, mentally, I'm like Feel Good Friday. So typically I will share usually like a GIF, maybe a funny joke that I found on Pinterest. Pinterest is like my best friend. Things like that. Let's see, what else? Mondays, it's usually like a positive quote. Now, because I do have a party going on currently in my VIP group, that's where those 2 posts a day can come in. So typically, I will post twice a day for the week, usually at least maybe 5 days tops through the week. And the first post, first thing in the morning, I alternate. So one post is going to be lighthearted, interactive, or fun, make them laugh. The other one is going to be informative. But if it's informative, it's going to be me. It's either going to be me in a photo or me in a video. And if it's like and let's just say you're not comfortable with video, then take a photo of yourself. It can be, you spraying your counters with counter clean. That's exactly what I'm about to do tonight. Like, I'm actually going to seriously take a photo of me cleaning the kitchen. I'm going to take a photo of me using the apples and cinnamon counter clean. I'm going to take a picture of it, but I'm going to schedule it to post tomorrow. So I'm really big on mentally trying to capture in the moment things that I'm doing with Scentsy products. But the beauty of that is that I can actually then utilize it and use it later on down the line, whether it be in my stories or in my VIP groups. I think that's pretty much about it. I think the biggest thing for anyone that has not done this whole concept in their VIP group is just the mental part. The mental part for me, I remember over a year ago when I first thought about even trying this out, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not partying in my VIP group. Those are my people. That's my community. I'm not going there. I don't want to confuse them. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to make anybody mad. But what I realized was that this was the best thing that anyone could ever do, because as of right now, I still have my VIP group. That may change next year, but as of right now, I have a VIP group. I'm still utilizing it. And if I have somebody that's wanting to host, the best way to do that is in your VIP group. Because like I said, we're already posting in there, right? We're already going live. We're already sharing all the things. So we might as well marry the two ideas to where we're not having to work double time. So that's pretty much about it. Thanks, Kathy, for jumping on. And Jessica, did you guys have any other questions?
No, I'll just have to still rewatch the replay.
You're good. And my thing is too, is like, I know Jessica, you and I were talking about this earlier, is that, and I think it was maybe before the recording, is that the thing is like, I have one host going on right now. I have one host that's in my VIP group. And my thing is that worst case scenario, it doesn't really go as planned, right? But here's the thing. I'm not wasting my time, right? I'm not wasting my time because I'm doing this in my VIP group. I'm already posting. I'm already sharing all the things in my VIP group. So it's not like I'm doing something that was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did all that. No one responded. Nothing came about that, because my people in my VIP group, they're already interacting as it is. So they're not going to mind commenting and sharing all the things because they're already doing that. So it's not like a total loss on my end. And like Jessica and I were saying earlier, when it comes to having a online party, and let's just say it doesn't quite hit the mark when it comes to 200 or more, typically that's when I'll have that conversation with the host, and I'll say, hey, thank you so much for wanting to host with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting my business. I'm actually going to edit your party link and create it as a personal shopping link. It's yours. You can share with others. You can use it for yourself. It never expires. And then just basically just kind of leave it at that. And yeah, I mean, I hope anybody who's watching the replay, whether it be on YouTube or Bootcamp group, hopefully you guys will give this a shot. It's totally worth it. Yeah. And here's the thing too. One thing I learned whenever I first started doing this whole concept over a year ago was that I didn't have, in the very beginning, I didn't have anybody for like several months that was like, oh, I'll do this partying with you. I'll do this whole new concept with you. I didn't have anybody for quite a while. So, but here's the thing. I did have people placing orders with me, right? Because my business was still flowing. You can actually create a mock block party in your VIP group. And again, I'm all about fake it till you make it. So you could hypothetically, if you were wanting to, you could make up your host. You're still having people placing orders, right? So you could still get that practice in your VIP group. And like, let's just say you have more than one host, or you have one host, right? You have somebody place an order. You could easily say, team whatever you want to say. Like you can make up your host name. You could say, we'll just use Jessica as an example. Sorry, Jessica. You could say that your host name was Jessica. So when you're thanking your people, when you're thanking your customers in your VIP group for ordering from you, you can say hashtag Team Jessica. Thank you so much for your order. They don't have to know, right? They don't have to know that you don't have a host. Your VIPs don't even know what's going on. You want them to still get that FOMO, if they're like, wait a minute, this person got this. Like y'all saw me talk about earlier. I was talking about like what the party guests get and then what your host gets, the host box. Put it together, fake it out, you guys. Put it together. Even if you don't have anybody that you're mailing it to, put it together, take a photo of it, put it on your VIP group, and say, oh, I can't wait to mail this out to my party host. That's non-existent, but your VIPs don't have to know that, right? So, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm gonna check the chat real quick. Thank y'all so much. Rewatch one of his. Oh yeah, no worries, Kathy. Yeah, as soon as it loads into my email, the recording, I'm definitely going to share it to the bootcamp group. So I'll probably just share it out in the post that I did earlier tonight. But thank y'all both for jumping on. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great night, and I will talk to y'all both later. Bye, guys.